With Charlotte Flair called out for not buying her own promos and Jay Lethal revealing how his AEW deal came together, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for November 14th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. With Bryan Danielson defeating Miro at Full Gear to become the #1 contender to the world title, he spoke during the post-show media scrum talking about how his brain scans are continuing to improve. So I don't do the impact testing anymore. To be honest, I haven't done an impact test in years and years, but I do regularly keep up with a neurologist who I see pretty much every month. There's these new tests called SPECT scans which monitor the oxygen flow in your brain and all that kind of stuff. Because I keep working on it and keep doing different things, my SPECT scans keep getting better and better. I think last time he said that they were better than your average 25-year-old with no head trauma. We're going to see how valid these SPECT scans are and some of the other stuff, but I'm trying to be very diligent because one of the things that's most important to me is being a dad. I see the best doctors in the country and all of them have cleared me, so it's not like I'm going to see these fringe doctors who are like, oh yeah, you're good to go buddy. Even Dr. Joseph Maroon, who I have a lot of respect for, he was the most tested. We had to go through all the due diligence to even get cleared for WWE because if you don't, there's a huge lawsuit. But my main goal is not to be the best wrestler. I'm a relatively old father. My son just turned a year and a half. When he turns 15, I'm going to be 54, 55. He's going to want to take me down the way that I did when I was 15 with my dad. I'm going to sprawl on him and I'm going to crush his shoulder. So I want to be when my daughter asks me about chemistry and how H2O bonds with CO2, I want to be able to say it's H2CO3. I want to be able to do all that and explain to her chemistry and algebra and calculus and whatever it is she wants to do. That is my #1 goal, to do that, and I think if Tony thinks I'm getting to a point where I won't be able to do that, it's going to be time to stop. With Adam Page winning the world title from Kenny Omega, it seems a match between Hangman and the American Dragon is coming up. During his match against Eddie Kingston, CM Punk did John Cena's shoulder tackle, spin out powerbomb, and even teased doing the 5-knuckle shuffle. Fans went crazy for this as Punk explained why he did it during the post-show media scrum. I have one boss when I'm in the ring, and I often like to say I have no boss when I'm in the ring, but the truth is it's the people, and I listen to them. Sometimes I go with the flow and sometimes I take it places. Regardless of the 7-year gap, I've been doing this for a minute. To me, it's fun just to mess with people. That's the whole juice for me. It's getting different reactions and kind of getting to play with that. 16 years ago today we lost Eddie Guerrero and I just thought, man, I'm wrestling a dude tonight named Eddie. How great is it going to be when I hear them chanting for Eddie? In my head I'm just going to be thinking about Eddie Guerrero. So I get to play with emotions and stuff like that because I feel they're chanting for Eddie. I'll go ahead and give them 3 amigos. Is that not what you want? I never expect to get booed or get cheered. I have a pretty good idea, and what I'm really excellent at is reading the room. Again, pulling back the curtain, it's one of the reasons Friday ago when me and Eddie did the promo in the ring, I didn't want people to see me or him until tonight, because I didn't want to go and influence them either way, more than we did. Let's just let the chips lay where they are, and Saturday we'll go out there and see what's what. That's what we did. With him defeating Eddie Kingston, it'll be interesting to see who is next for Punk. After making her name in the UFC, Ronda Rousey took her star power over to WWE, where she became the Raw Women's Champion. During her WWE tenure, she faced many top-level opponents, including Sasha Banks. On the Kurt Angle show, Banks admitted to being furious that Rousey was earning more money than her. I can only speak for myself. There might be a little tension. I'm not sure about any real heat. I was pissed off that Ronda Rousey could come in, get more money than me, bigger locker room than me, and bring all these people backstage and get more time than me. I'm like, Like, excuse me, who is you? And what you do? Besides respecting everything that she has done in the UFC and the fight world, when it comes to the squared circle, this is my home. This is why I'm the legit boss, not Ronda Rousey. There could have been a lot of tension from that, and the other three. I just didn't know. I didn't even know why they called themselves the Four Horsewomen. I was like, thank you so much for being a fan, but that was art creating art. Second after Ric Flair and WCW, know what I'm saying? With Rousey's WWE contract expiring earlier this year, there's no telling if she'll make a return. Given the releases from Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal was able to make his AEW debut at Full Gear. During the post-show media scrum, Lethal touched on how his deal with AEW came about. It all happened so quickly, only a few days ago. My head was spinning because today was the first time we met and talked face to face. Imagine being, for lack of a better term, jobless and wondering how you're going to pay your bills and such. You're a professional wrestler, so there's not a ton of jobs. You can't just fill out an application anywhere. I got a quick message from some of Tony's associates, which was like a beacon of light, but literally that was only a few days ago. Then I flew in yesterday and had to sit in my hotel room, and I couldn't get any sleep because all I could think about was, well, I don't really know what's happening tomorrow because we haven't met yet. It was wild. All of these thoughts going through my mind. Will the people like me? The company is on fire right now. I hope I make a good impression. Just a wild rush of emotions in my head. Lethal would go on to note that AEW felt like home to him. The easiest way to answer that is that this feels like home immediately. Other than meeting Tony for the first time, I walked in the building and instantly saw people I had met throughout my 20 years in the pro wrestling. Some I was well acquainted with, some I only met a few times in passing, some men and women I hadn't seen in 15 years, and it was as if we never skipped a beat. So, right away, my first 30 seconds here, I was like, man, this is home. Now, Lethal is set to challenge Sammy Guevara for the TNT title on Dynamite. On Dynamite last month, Lance Archer suffered a botch, which resulted in him landing on his head during a moonsault. While it was said he would be out of action with a concussion, AEW President Tony Khan had this to say about it after Full Gear. He's here, he's good. Thankfully, he came out of it good. It was a neck injury, not a head injury. He cleared all the impact testing, concussion, all the stuff over the last several weeks. He twisted his neck, but he's good. I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to rush. We have so many great stars. Lance is a really important wrestler for us, and has hit on so many great things for us, like winning the IWGP US title in the Texas Death Match. It was and he had a great match with Tanahashi. I don't have an exact date, but I don't see any point in rushing him. With a neck injury, you don't want to rush it. He was here today and the doc was checking up on him. He's in great spirits and he's had a great 2021. WWE is still in their 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia, which will see shows continue to be brought to the country. This has led to fans comparing this deal to Shad Khan's investments in that nation. After Full Gear, Tony made it clear that he did not appreciate the comparisons to his father's business dealings. I've been wanting to say something for a long time. I'm just going to say it. I've never brought this up, but I see people say stuff online, and me bringing this up will probably make it worse, but I'm gonna say it anyway. My dad bought 4 seasons from a Saudi person 5 years ago, and that is the beginning and the end of it. It is very much an apples and oranges thing. When you compare the ongoing business relationship between WWE and Saudi Arabia to what my dad did, which was purchasing a property from an individual, not the government. But I see people say stuff like, oh, Shad Khan does business with Saudi Arabia. That's BS. I've seen people bring this up online for years and they are wrong. My dad is not involved in ongoing businesses. He just bought the hotel years ago. It's very different to what's going on with that part of the world with WWE. An early call-up from NXT was seen on Smackdown as Von Wagner made his appearance alongside Adam Pearce. Ringside News would address this, writing, Von Wagner showing up on Smackdown was not expected. We asked about this and we were told that Wagner is now Adam Pearce's new bodyguard. Wagner was brought to Smackdown because Pearce needed a bodyguard. He's a big dude. Wagner's real name is Cal Bloom, with him being the son of Wayne Bloom that wrestled during the late 80s and into the 90s. Wrestling star Petey Williams has been learning the ropes backstage in WWE, with him previously listed as a producer for a match on Smackdown, as Ringside News would write. Williams joined the WWE producer team in recent memory, and he was listed as producer for Reigns vs. Woods this week. We were told that Michael Hayes was really the producer for that match, and Petey was shadowing him. Right now, Petey is getting fast-tracked into the system. On Smack Talk, wrestling legend Dutch Mantel talked about Charlotte Flair's promo on Smackdown, where she called Becky Lynch a fabricated champion, as Mantel had issues with the delivery. I'm not a big fan of her. I don't know why. She says the right words, but to me, it's just her saying words and she's not going all out on the promo. She's not buying the promo herself, it looks like to me. She's not committed to it, and even if you're not committed to it, you've got to deliver it. She says the words, but you don't feel the words. It looked like at one point tonight she kind of got lost and put her head down a minute to think, where am I going next? She had the people saying, uh-oh, oops, everybody else might be crazy about her. I don't know why. Nothing with her work. She works great, but I just don't feel her at all. The big event convention in New York City was set to see Malakai Black and Eddie Kingston, but it was announced they could not attend, with it noted that they were injured at Full Gear. Details regarding Kingston's injury have been revealed as Northeast Wrestling put out this statement. Eddie Kingston contacted us late last night due to an injury to his shoulder in his match with CM Punk at the AEW pay-per-view. He will be unable to appear at big event New York convention today. He's having his shoulder checked out and having a series of medical tests this morning. If you prepared any of his meet and greet items, you will be refunded later today. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.